so back to our conversations, Mr. Chima. So, yes, we've heard it's
I like the way
related
you're saying
to,
that. Can you
it's
say
related to, yes, it's related to, yeah, it's likened to amputation. But is there ever a time when it becomes totally necessary for the woman to leave? When is that time that she just must leave? I know about physical abuse, and what other time do you think it's evident that she just must leave? Yeah.
I'll just first repeat what I had said earlier.
Okay.
When you no longer exist in the marriage.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
When, for instance, you are living with a man who for 5 years, 10 years, does not consider you an object of interest. You have no sexual value in the marriage. You must leave because you do not have a husband.
Wow.
Spiritually, you do not have a husband. Legally speaking, you do not have a husband.
So you must leave and deal with and find ways to deal with the amputation.
Sure, some amputations are necessary.
Some amputations, I like that.
When you are diabetic and the leg is going sour, they must cut it to preserve the whole. The philosophy behind amputation is that you cut a part to preserve the whole. So you must cut this part. Now, there are also some other cases where, for instance, I've seen situations where a man has moved on, obviously moved on. You are in that house simply because you are thinking of your children. The marriage was not between you and the children. But if you are also in midlife, you married at 25, between 25 and 30, your children have mostly attained majority, the age of majority, so say they have reached 18 years, 15 years, 16 years. At that point, the law allows them to be able to choose who they would live with. The man no longer wants it, you no longer want it. For there to be a contract, there is something called consensus addendum in Latin. It is to say there has to be an agreement of the minds. The two of us must want it. So there are cases where I don't want it, you don't want it. In that case, you must go. In fact, even in cases where the man is asking you to go.
Yeah. What do? You just have to go.
You just have to go.
Yeah.
Now, you can try. You can try. Some people say, I still love the man. But if you're in midlife, the reason to remain in marriage is not because you still love the man.
It is because of what?
It is because you are desired. The marriage is needful.
And it's still working.
Or it can be repaired.
Or there are still pleasurable
aspects. You know, you can own a car and it has a flat tire. You do not destroy away a car. Even sometimes it has engine problems. You can fix it.
You buy a new part.
So when there is willingness, the man is not physically abusing you.
Yeah.
If it's even just some form of verbal abuse that had happened and you can't live with it, it is possible to have recourse to a few things. A lot of marriage counselors limit it to what they call communication. And I've told you, I can say something to you, say to me, and we'll never agree. But we have communicated.
Yeah.
There is a lot more than that. So you can if the man is willing to come to the table, to talk, to make adjustments. Because also at that point, a lot of men become needful of the wives.
Can you throw more light into that? What do you mean needful?
At that point where the man is less productive, less attractive, beginning to suffer some health challenges, he needs somebody to look after him. And that is often when the woman at midlife wants to go.
Okay.
That's when she goes for a Mugo and doesn't come back.
Okay.
Right? The man becomes needful. If he is willing.
What about getting a nurse? I'm not saying, what about getting a nurse to look after her?
No.
What about getting a nurse? Does it have to be the woman because the woman at midlife, let's be clear, the woman at midlife also has her health challenges. She also has knee issues, some various challenges.
You're changing the topic.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, how about getting a nurse? Just train a nurse.
Nurse is often transmute to second wives.
An old nurse, an old competent nurse.
Yes, okay. Who also needs a man. So let's be clear about this. What I was talking about is that the man becomes more needful of the wife. The wife becomes more needful of some other accomplishments, some other things. She's bitter, she wants to pay back, or she wants to achieve more. If he's willing to come to the negotiating table, don't make that move.
Yes.
So negotiate. Because also,
I'd like us to talk about the negotiation. Yes.
There are things, that negotiation, when you come to the table.
Is okay, so this is what we want to do. How can we strike a balance?
Yes, when you come to that table, it is not a place for acrimony. It's not a place to pay back.
Yeah.
It is a place for empathy. It's a place for understanding. It's a place for appreciation. Because if you start from the point of when you started, how good was the man? If he was bad ab initio,
then you should have left.
He should have left a long time ago. If there were things that the man did that were good, now you bring it to the table. He brings yours to the table. If you begin from that point, it is easier to discount the negatives and enrich an understanding where you, the midlife woman, first recognizes, and I'm putting that clear, first recognizes that the man has needs, he has problems, he has challenges of his own. Help him. He becomes stronger. But his strength is no longer one that is dependent on him. His strength is deriving from you.
So do you say the man at that time, why do you say it's no longer, he doesn't have his own strength? Like, I'm confused about that.
No, you shouldn't be, because I laid a foundation for it. And I said that at that point, the man is earning less. If he was a high-flying career person, he's earning less.
But is that a general thing? Not necessarily. Would you say that's general? Not necessarily.
Yes, it is general. There are most men in their 60s. Retirement age in most places, including the corporate world, is 60 years.
What about those who have their own businesses and are doing well?
A lot of times, a friend of mine just lost an in-law who was a very rich man. And the man was 75 years or so. And he's telling me the man no longer has money. Your ability to earn generally doesn't continue to appreciate in your old age. There are few exceptions of people who become more successful. And I'm sure, let's also be clear about this. You see this midlife woman we're talking about? The midlife woman doesn't begin to regret if the husband is very successful.
Okay.
If there is a lot of money on the table in the house.
No matter how sore the marriage is or how abusive the marriage,
you must make some assumptions.
Okay.
We're not talking of a marriage where the man gives you money and slaps you.
Okay.
We're talking of a normal marriage and the woman gets to midlife. Because in most of these cases we're talking about, the things that the man did, a man who committed adultery at 30 years and is a billionaire today, the midlife woman is not likely to remember. Because she will think first of the private jet.
Okay.
She will think first of the Hermes bag,
so you're saying
of the Chanel bag.
Poverty makes the infidelity worse.
Yes,
more
absolutely.
Painful, or more painful.
No. The less the man becomes successful in midlife, the more likely the woman is likely to remember
the sins of the past.
Yes,
the sins of the
absolutely.
past. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Where there is. I read a little satirical write-up a few days back. It says that the palm is the most sensitive part of a woman's body. And when asked why, he says, look, when money enters the woman's palm, it activates every other part of the body. I'm not suggesting that money answers all things in a marriage. But indeed, the Bible is clear that marriage, money, answers all things. When a man is comfortable and rich and knows how to deploy the money, see, for the alpha man, the best way to show love to his woman is through money. Flowers are expensive.
Okay, let me come. There's another group of women I'd like us to talk about, So here's the woman because I think we've kind of like leaned more towards the woman who's not so financially stable. But there's also the flip side, the woman who is doing well. She's independent financially. She's financially secure, okay? And she arrives at midlife and the marriage has turned sour. She's having all of these challenges. Or even both parties are doing well. Both parties the man is doing well, the woman is doing well. The man doesn't have any of those challenges you've talked about, but there are some other things that are happening in the marriage that they cannot condone. What would you say when they come to that? Would you still say it's still negotiation? And she wants to leave, she's considering leaving. But if you still say it's negotiation, when they come to that negotiating table, you're doing well, I'm doing well. You're healthy, I'm healthy. What are they serving on that negotiation table? What will be served there as a
I know it's your program, but I'm going to then ask you a simple question. Give me an example of what the issue could be in such a relationship. Okay,
so infidelity, for instance. Okay?
Ongoing infidelity, or because we're talking of the midlife woman who suddenly begins to look back. Is it infidelity in the past?
Maybe current infidelity now and then, but men hardly would they accept that it's infidelity, that it's true. So suspicions of infidelity, emotional neglect, not necessarily sexual neglect, emotional neglect, or the woman is saying to herself, I could be more. I'm tired of this, I could be more. There are different dynamics that go on in a marriage. What would you say would be served? Do you still say it's negotiation? And if they're negotiating, what would be served? Because you are doing well on your own path. I'm doing well on my own path.
You know why I asked you that question?
Okay.
I think you're painting that midlife woman in bad light.
The one
because what you're saying is that there's no reason. She just wants to get going. If it is ongoing infidelity, ongoing infidelity can occur whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whatever the financial standings are.
Okay.
And when there is infidelity, but why I said you're painting in bad light is you said it's suspicion. And I just finished letting you know here that when you are 50-something years, when you are 60-something years,
so there's infidelity.
Focusing on suspicion of infidelity
so if
means you want to go.
If there's infidelity, if there's emotional abuse, and all of that, and also so many of that, the issues that make a marriage sour, as we've seen, are very diverse. If there are issues that are making the marriage sour, what would you say they should? Would they come to the negotiation table?
There are issues that do not need to come to any table, and I've outlined a few of them. But when there is, some of the things that make marriage sour are conversations around intimacy. Conversations around money, conversations around raising the children.
In-laws, as well.
No, but by the time you're at midlife, all of these things usually don't apply. In-laws are no longer influential in your marriage when you've been married for 30-something years.
Okay.
Children have grown. So it is narrow what comes about. What it usually is about is the man could have become detached, removed from you. You have your own money. But let's assume this, for instance. Maybe you had the money first. And you put the man through a lot. And then he now has money. And he's looking at you like, okay, go ahead with your money. Or you didn't have, he had. And he put you through a lot.
Yeah, both ways.
And then suddenly you have money on your right at life. And you're looking at the man, all that wickedness. I cannot take it.
Good picture.
What it means, it still comes to the same thing. It means that you have the money to buy a life outside marriage. So the amputation is not going to be expensive.
So in that case,
you do not need much from the man.
Would you advise stay or leave or renegotiate in that instance?
See, negotiations are done from points of strength, which is why I talked about bringing on the appreciation. The fact that I'm rich and they are rich is not a reason to divorce. It is even easier to renegotiate such marriages because there is not much that is on the table. It is usually a question of ego.
Both parties,
Now, God that created man and said you are the provider and woman you are the helpmate. It's not a fool. He knows that women are not wired to provide for men. They're not wired to do so. Women are asking for independence because in the order of God, He did not create it that way. That's why they are pushing for it. So when you have become financially independent, are you still able, as a Christian woman, to be submissive to your husband? And let me give my own definition of submissive. Because submissiveness is often interpreted to mean domination, to mean that the man controls you. No. Submissiveness, the man did not say to the man, extract submission from the woman. No. He says to the woman, submit. So it is something you do willingly. And it simply means allow this man to lead you, which is why you must marry a man that you look up to. If you look at generally at how God created the anatomy of men and women, He created it that the woman should be looking at the man the way you are looking at me.
Okay. So we keep looking at,
Yes. So if you are the kind of woman who is not going to be able to allow a man to lead, irrespective of financial status, then do not get married at all. Because if you get married, you're going to always arrive at this point.
That would be another topic but I want to come in here, Mr. Chuma, from an informed or from the legal perspective of a man.
Do you
say, okay, you're a chief, but we can't use all of that. It's okay. But what would you say is the place of third-party help, like counselors, pastors, mediators, and all of that in the issue of the context of when the marriage goes on? Do you think it's a waste of time? Or there could be some help, or we just leave the two people involved to sort themselves out? What do you think?
It's not a waste of time.
Or a lawyer.
Certainly not a waste of time.
Okay.
Let me categorize it. When you're much younger in marriage, the best place to get that kind of help is family.
Okay.
When you've arrived at midlife, you're often called matriarch. You have reached at that point where most people in the family are younger than you.
Okay.
So there's not much you can take from there except your children. And going to your children is the wrongest place to go. Now, about pastors and counselors, it could be useful, but the usefulness, I think, is over-exaggerated. It is useful where there is a willing man and a willing woman to continue in the marriage. Where one person no longer wants to be married.
I see.
Because what counseling does for you is to enable you adjust your perspectives. It is you that submits. First of all, you must submit to
your
that
perspective. And then probably see
counseling
from a different point of view,
yes,
a different point of view, different lens.
But when you have reached the point of no return, when, for instance, a man is constantly, deliberately trying to push the wife out of the house because of a paramour somewhere, when a man has reached the point where he's bringing women into the house, when he's no longer sleeping at home, he goes out on Friday and comes back on Monday, and you're calling for counseling. It is not likely to achieve. And there are a lot of marriages that are at this stage. It's like stage 4 cancer. They may give you palliative, but the marriage is gone. Now, so the best time to seek this kind of counseling is let me give you an example. If you are going to a church on Sunday, your husband drops you and goes to play football, then you want a pastor to come and mediate.
Yeah, I see.
It's not going to achieve much.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Now, for counselors, I also think that oftentimes they are earning their money. They have a box from which they open fixed situations. But no two marriages are the same.
There are no general prescriptions.
There are really no general prescriptions. But what they apply often are general prescriptions that they take from the answer to the question. But really, marriages are totally different. And what triggers problems in marriage A may be a source of fun in marriage B. So yes, it is important to get extra help. Oftentimes too, a lot of times, hey, who was that your best man? Who was the chairman at your marriage ceremony?
Yes.
Those persons whom two of you look up to. What I'm trying to say here is that it is more helpful when there is a figure, a father figure or mother figure, that the two of you respect. It is better in the course of your marriage to be sure that you cultivate one or such relationships so that when there are challenges, you could go there. But on the whole, third-party interventions are not generally helpful in a marriage.
Okay.
Generally.
Okay.
It is best to try and find ways. Particularly, I'm 60-something, you are 50-something. Why are we not able to decide whether or not we want to continue to stay with each other?
We should decide. We should be able to decide.
If you combine the ages of men and women in midlife, it's usually over a century.
Yeah,
and that is to say, wisdom ought to come with age. There is experience. You know each other more than any other person knows.
And you know yourself as well.
And you know yourself. You know what you want. If you sincerely put it on the table and try to have a discourse around it, if you can manage the egos, because let me put it this way. I observe that from talking to a number of women, a client came to my office and spoke for 1 hour and cried for about 45 minutes. And when she had finished, I was still listening to find out why the marriage had broken down irretrievably, because that's the sole legal condition for dissolving marriages. And I didn't hear. So I walked to my bookshelf and brought the Matrimonial Cases Act, opened to section 15 to her, and asked her to read. She read it and asked me why. I said, can you show me why you want to end your marriage? The reasons should be found in that book. So oftentimes, there is ego. The woman had become very successful in a parastatal, and in her own words, was no longer willing to take the shit that she was taking previously. But she was taking it before she became successful.
So she did continue taking the shit for life. Shit for life.
No, that's why you can renegotiate if it's a reasonable man. If it's an unreasonable man and you cannot find a way out, then that marriage would have to end. See, when we talk about ego, if it is no longer manageable, marriage should end.
Then there's nothing
because there is something that we're not paying attention to. First is that the line between love and hate is very thin.
Yeah.
2 is that when a man and a woman who have fallen out of love, who are no longer friends, who despise each other living in the house, there is recipe for murder or for physical harm.
And it has happened, hasn't it?
It always happens.
Yeah.
Physical harm. You are living on the same bed, or in the same room, or in the same house, and I don't find you attractive, and I overhear you talking to a man or talking to a woman. Somebody is going to kill somebody. So when you are at that point in that relationship, somebody needs to get going so that there won't be more problems than that. I also think that, see, when truth has left a marriage, that marriage is on its way to the grave. And what do I mean by truth? You are no longer telling yourself truth about yourself. You're not telling yourself about the husband. You are comparing your husband with a man,
another person
outside, or you're comparing your wife with somebody outside. You're headed for the grave of marriage. So then those things, nobody ever speaks the truth about them.
Yeah. It's interesting you're saying, because my next question would have been, what are some of these mistakes, blind spots? So you've talked about, are there other additional ones you think you can, the blind spots that lead us to the marriage going south?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.